Okay. Come on, lose them. To call the meeting to order at 4:35. Marshall, call the roll, please.
Sure. Bob Alexander. Marla Benjamin. Marla.
She's going to absent.
Michael Bennett.
Present.
Emily Hill. Dennis Coleman.
Here.
Doris Lassiter. Absent. Luis Macias. Absent. Bob Marks absent. Matt Murray.
Here.
Antonio Lozano. Absent. Marcia Ryden here. Karen Weathers. Here. Thank you. John White.
Present.
Virginia Liberal. Absent. And Jonathan Martin.
Okay, we do have a quorum. All right, John, you want to lead the Pledge of Allegiance?
Everyone, please stand. Right hand over your heart. Flag there. Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay, open communication. We have one, Ryan, do you want to speak now, or you want to wait for the agenda item?
I can wait for the item, yes.
Okay. All right, consent agenda. Approval of credit card for March and a check register for March, and approval of March 29th regular board meeting minutes. We don't have to call the roll on these because we're live meeting. So, is there, anybody have a problem that's in the Dropbox? Any additions or corrections to either of those two items? Seeing none, they're approved by consensus. All right, action items. All right, now these are a whole bunch of field trips. Overnight field trip, boys basketball to Arizona, June 17th, 19th. I'm gonna read them all because I think if we take them all as a block, it saves time. Overnight field trip for boys basketball to Santa Barbara, June 24th and 26th. Overnight field trip, girls basketball, Central Coast Summer Splash in San Luis Obispo, June 11 and 12. Overnight field trip, girls basketball, San Diego, June 24th, 26th. Overnight field trip, girls basketball, showdown tournament, Alameda, California, July 1. All right, is there a motion to approve those 5 field trips?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All those field trips are approved, thank you. On the agenda, approval of technology plan and security policy. Mr. Bennett?
Yeah, I'm gonna have,
Oh,
Sarah or
okay.
Sarah and Vic, or Vic and Sarah.
I'll start with the security policy. It was in your Dropbox 2 months ago. It's basically just to adopt something on paper to prevent us from any kind of cybersecurity attacks, whether it be email security, file systems like Google and whatnot, Dropbox, just to make sure we're covered. We have in the past have had attacks via email, like phishing attacks. Most recently, we had a email sent out to a lot of staff members impersonating Mr. Bennett, asking for phone numbers and email addresses, and time before that, asking for gift cards, bank statements. So we've been able to stop it, but we're looking at something new to prevent it altogether from even getting as far as hitting your inbox. This will also strengthen network security and password policies as well.
Okay. Sarah?
And then the tech plan, which you guys had an overview of in your Dropbox from last meeting as well, is just a detailed document outlining what our like our vision of technology for the next 3 years is what we currently have on campus, where we need to go, and then fleshing out in terms of how to judge the effectiveness of technology, our PD, our effect on students, and all of that.
Okay, any questions? Is there a motion to approve the technology plan and security policy? Moved by Bob Alexander, second by Matt Mowry.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is there any, are you asking for any funding?
There would be, if we move ahead with a different spam filter, there's still funding associated with the current one. This would just be a separate funding vendor.
Okay, but we're not voting in favor of expenditures right now.
There's no money.
It's for the policy.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Already, all those in favor of approving the policy, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. All right, item number 7, approve capital projects installation for additional classrooms. Estimated cost between $1.5 million.
So that project, we thought that we would have a bid at this time that we would be going with to implement that project. The request here is just approval of LAUSD's estimate of the cost. We've not entered a relationship with anybody. The bid that we received was way over, and we're not going, it was like $2.5 million when the estimate was like 1.5, 1.7. We're not accepting that. There were a lot of exclusions to what was going to be included in that cost also. So we're going to re-put it out, and then ultimately, whatever the the best proposal is, ideally the lowest cost proposal, then we'll bring that to the board and ask for an approval, a reconciliation from the $1.5 million LAU.
Okay. Any questions? All right, is there a motion to approve the capital projects for additional classrooms? Moved by Mr. Mowry, seconded by Mr. Alexander. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes. Item number 8, approval of authorization of Joanna Olmos and Ari Bennett as additional signatories to the LA County Office of Education related fiscal action for Birmingham Charter. Do we want to let him sign any bills?
And I have Joanna's here also,
Okay,
in case you, I mean,
it's just a housekeeping issue.
yeah.
Well, we'll see how popular you are.
Just changed from Will. How do you?
Yeah, I think so.
Correct. So currently, we have 2 main accounts. Our operating account, which is where we pay like employees' paychecks from, or vendor paychecks, and then we have our legal account, which is what we're trying to get approval from. Every quarter or so, I would initiate a transfer of funds from that legal account over to our operating account. And now during Will's absence, we're requesting for both Mr. Bennett and myself to approve that transfer.
Just a housekeeping, is there a motion to approve the 2 signatories? Moved by Marcia, seconded by Bob Alexander. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, very good. All right. Number 9, approval of football stadium visitor site bleacher repair revision estimated cost of $125,000 for change order. We have a speaker. Ryan?
Do I need to stand or can I sit?
There's a microphone, so it'll be easier.
And obviously, I agree that it needs to move forward, but how it moves forward is what I have an issue with.
I think you better speak into the mic just so we get it.
I think you can pick it.
Yeah, you can pick it up.
Sorry, I don't
Okay.
publicly speak very often. Obviously, I agree that the bleachers need to be finished. The fact that they got shut down is part of what I'm here addressing. The appropriateness of Medina Construction and Engineering getting contracts through this institution. What I can tell is they are a preferred vendor status where they're giving contracts repeatedly without competition. They have left a trail of code violations over the many hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of public funds they've received. They do not regularly sign up with the state's Department of Industrial Relations to do public contracts over certain amounts. Most of their contracts are low dollar numbers, but they're strung along in multiples and makes it look like you're trying to avoid the larger consequences of the larger dollar contracts. They have been a part of multiple handicap access, ADA access violations. They hated the ramps in front of the 400 bungalows was their work, and none of them are even close to ADA compliant. All of the trailers that they built ramps in front of, none of them are compliant. They've been, I've seen them doing a lot of electrical work lately around here that do not meet LAUSD's build specifications for appropriate materials, wire sizes, stuff, those type of items. I've seen them here replacing a ceiling that has asbestos, according to the asbestos management book, where the operator was sitting with the drill raining down material on his head. They had no containment other than a single caution strip or caution tape around him, but nothing saying that they were working on asbestos. And again, they weren't removing it in large pieces. Dealing with asbestos also requires a certification with the state to remove it, which I have not seen them. They're posting on Contractor State Licensing Board's website. Doesn't say that they have it. I do not know if they do otherwise. Much of when they came here, starting in 2016, for the first 4 months, they did not have workman's compensation, but he had crews of people running around here to the tune of roughly $80,000, I think, before he actually became a legitimate contractor, at least on paper. And again, he operates under a Class A general engineering license that under state law is responsible for doing specialty construction works called fixed works that are things like highways and wharfs, special drainage systems, sewer systems. So the general work around campus here would fall under a Class B general building contractor's license. So I believe much of what he's done here does not even fall within the scope of his license.
So what do you want the board to do?
I would like a third-party investigation into the appropriateness of this contractor taking contracts here. Vetting work that he's done that has not been inspected, that was not, LUSD doesn't know about it.
So it's a contractor that,
I believe he's the current contractor for the stadium project, which is why I'm speaking to it now. And the one time he did sign up for doing public works contracts, the larger dollar amount was when he got this contract. And all of this is available on state websites, the Department of Industrial Relations, Contractor State License Board. It's all public knowledge.
Okay,
So
thank you, Mr. Bennett.
I don't think we're actually approving, and so I pulled up the contract here. This is actually the date of the contract was, I started July 1st, 2019. This is June 30th, 2019. But they've been working on the bleachers. We've had LAUSD out numerous times and have validated the work. That's what has allowed us to go forward. Maria Thorpe is our CPM, and believe me, she has no problem with shutting us down if there's a code violation. And so she's come out. The only reason why I believe there's an ask for a change order here is because it's the same contract. It's because the price of wood is higher. Is that right?
Correct.
And so, there was a time where we were holding off thinking the price of wood was gonna go back down. But it didn't, and we wanted to get it done for graduation. But, all of the work that's being done is being greenlit by LAUSD, and then they come in and they check it after. So I can't speak to our process at this time for how this contract was done, but I can speak to what this is about. And like I said, this is not a new contract. This is a change order from that contract because of the price of wood.
So there's just an increase of $125K due to the increase of supply costs, is what you're saying?
Okay. Is there a motion to, well, I need a motion to do something. The approval of the football stadium, change order contract for about $125,000. Is there a motion? A motion to approve that item. Is there a second? Move to second. Any discussion?
Question about,
Just raise your hand, I'll be calling people up.
just a question about how we look into something about this vendor, if we do want to have a third party person come and look
That would be after this,
at
and
that.
then, after this vote.
Yes,
So we're approving the money,
You're
even
approving
though,
for the change
even though
order.
we have a concern about the contractor himself.
That's not, yeah, the issue is only approving the change order.
Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Bennett, sorry.
It's okay.
LUSD has approved this, correct?
Yes,
And they've inspected it and everything like that to meet their standards and their qualifications, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, and so, you know, I want to take, you know, Ryan's comment seriously. I think we can do that for new contracts. But they've been working on the stadium, and this is, we're hopeful we would be able to get this done before graduation. So that's why this is coming out.
And that's to do that whole side,
Yeah,
not just the section that's already torn up, it's to complete the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
The change order literally says it's for increase in wood prices, or is it now parts of it, now it's labor added? What does the change order actually say?
It's material with bolts and the lumber and paint. Because they've been painting the
The metal underneath.
metal at the bottom of it, so they've been painting it. And
So it's
that's
including labor too now?
correct.
And
So
that
it's-
wasn't part of the original cost? the
It's
labor
all of it combined.
So it's not just wood now,
No,
now
so
it's also labor?
Yeah, on the contract, it's just labor and material. Material, no labor.
and so the
Material and
contract,
labor on
so-
the change order.
hold on. So he hasn't done these bleachers yet, right? So the original contract obviously included labor. And so that doesn't change. It's not being raised. The cost of the labor is not changing in this case. That's already been fixed. This is for the increased cost due to the supply chain issues. And so the increased cost is only due to the supplies.
Material.
Whatever those materials might be, whether it's wood, bolts, nuts, anything like that. Right, okay. Paint,
My only question is, because it's, I mean, we've had this contract here since 2016. My only concern would be that we should look into make sure that was a higher contract. We do our due diligence.
Yes, become.
I just said we do our due diligence when we hire contractors. And all these issues should be addressed before we sign any contract. And I think it is in our policy. So but we can double check that just to make sure.
And a good example is, for this process, for the portables that we want to get installed, that's something that went out to bid. Medina didn't bid on it. And so we only got one bid, but we're also working with an LAUSD firm to help us evaluate the bids, make sure everybody that is going to be, has a qualified bid, meets all of the LAUSD requirements for contractors. And so, the relationship that we have with LAUSD in 2022, and I think Lionel can probably speak to this even better than I can, is very different than when I got here as principal. When I got here as principal, there was the idea that we could do things without LAUSD and we'd be able to get it done cheaper or faster. But in the end, what the school learned is we have to get their approval anyway. They can shut anything down at any time because this is their property. And so we've worked to rebuild that relationship, and we're doing things with them to make sure that everything that we implement is going to be compliant, and that they're not going to come back later and say your plans weren't correct, because now they're the ones doing the plans for the most part, and then we'll put something out to bid. That's what's different, whereas obviously LAUSD normally does that, but we work with them on the architects part of it and engineering part of it, we're working with LAUSD, and then we put it out to bid. But they're gonna, all of those things, any bid projects are, being supervised and have to be approved by LAUSD. So I mean, I agree, and I think that's smart to, we can evaluate them. But certainly no new projects with Medina, until we get somebody to assess their viability.
Anything further? Is there a motion? I think Marcia made it, right? Someone- you made
Yeah,
that
we
motion?
already made it, and then Pat seconded it.
Okay, and we have discussion, all right? Any other discussion?
One more discussion, just about the asbestos, that we need to follow on that.
Well, I will take care of that after we get through this vote. All those in favor of approving the overrun of $125,000 for the bleachers, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carries. All right, if you would send me or send Mr. Bennett a copy of all the issues you outlined so we can follow up on that?
Okay.
Okay? That way, we have it and we can do whatever we have to do.
Is there a Dropbox that I can submit it so everybody can see it?
Sure, I send it to Anna and then she'll put it in the Dropbox. Thank you. All right, item number 10, replacement of golf carts. 6 carts at $9,000 each. Wait a minute now. I was a principal and I bought golf carts. If you go to Palm Springs, there's a used golf cart lot and they deliver them. And I spent no more than $2,000 per cart.
So.
And they worked.
How many years ago?
Yeah.
Excuse me, Mr.
19 what?
So it might be $3,000 now.
Yeah, I mean, the only limitation that we have is that we have spare parts from the company that we've been using. And so we try to buy, when we're gonna replace, we try to replace with that same vendor. And this is what the new ones cost.
Brand new?
Yeah.
No.
Air conditioning, they got a drop cage
You
and
were
a.
like 15,000.
You were like 15.
What? 15? Okay, all right.
Is there snow tires?
I don't know.
It's actually some Tesla. All right, approval of replacement golf carts is a motion on item number 10.
Motion.
As moved. Second? By Bob Alexander. Any discussion? 6 golf carts at $9,000 each. Any discussion?
I can't do math on that, I had pre-thought.
I hope they have
Looking at used golf carts on Bing, $1,500 for an electric one, $1,000 for a new club car president, $1,000, $300, $9,000, $1,500. So.
I don't want to stir the pot.
Does it reach a point where we take a bid on something? I mean, here's one for $700. It's got a nice little caddy on the back. Here's one that's got a front caddy for tools.
I'm okay with the 9,000, thinking that we can nickel and dime and go for it. What's their maintenance policy? What's their say standby? If it doesn't work, we have to buy another one every 2 years?
Do they have a maintenance contract that goes with it?
They don't have a maintenance contract, they do have warranty on it with the batteries. And the batteries are the most expensive parts. So they come with new batteries, new tires, kind of look brand new. From what I know it's a James item, but James, I kind of been talking to him, working with James. Like I said, believe it or not, the 9,000 is kind of cheap, and I know he's finding it's a little cheaper. But when we were looking at just, some of these other items, like, we were looking at a John Deere kind of type of cart, and those are coming up at like $22,000.
You give Roy Romer some money.
Not to mention that you're getting them all from one location as opposed to buying one here, buying one there, plus the vendor, plus being able to, I would believe, having to have the W-2s or 9s, whatever, that they'd have to have to be able to purchase from them, all that stuff, right?
The other used ones that we bought, the ones that we currently have now, they're compliant apart, they're about 9 and 10 years old. We bought them.
What's the vendor that we paid for?
They're at Santa Clarita.
These are new or used?
Used.
Used?
What's the warranty?
Yeah, what's the life expectancy of these things?
The ones we currently have now, they're about 10 years old. And we have about 12, I think 12 on campus. And we bought them like almost 10 years ago, all at once. And we, now that it got to the point where, parts are harder to get to, find. So that's where.
Yeah, we get 8 to 10 years out of a good cart.
Oh, that's what we did, yeah. And we got 8 to 10 years out of it, which is sound good, now it's just trying to replace. Isn't that you're trying to replace basically replacing 6 of them that are in the worst condition, I take it? And then use those ones as parts for everything? Okay.
All right, any more discussion? Motion to approve? Any more discussion? None? Okay, all those in favor of approving the replacement of golf carts for $54,000, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carries. Good luck. All right, we have a closed session with one item. Let me ask you a question. Who's presenting? Is there anybody on the board who has a conflict with that?
Well, should we ask?
No, teachers can stay, but nobody has it. Students.
Well, we don't know the students, but
Oh, okay.
okay, so these,
All right.
get the student's name.
Well, first.
Ari.
Am I looking at
Ari.
the-